I totally agree with that in terms of like the quality of the build, like on Arkham Knight, it's just phenomenal. So
yeah, I think the character really does look incredible, and I mean the Scarecrow's design is probably the one that's changed the most radically from Batman Arkham Asylum to Batman Arkham Knight. You know, he's terrifying now.
Yeah, he is. You don't want to meet that guy in a dark alley, do you? Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Do we have
Fallout Fernando? Do we have to drive around everywhere? You don't have to drive around everywhere. In the city itself, there'll be points where you definitely want to use the Batmobile, and there'll be points so there'll be puzzles in the story that you will need to use the Batmobile to solve, because Batman might be in one location and you'll need to use Batmobile remote control to activate something else from another location. But it's always you'll be always glad to have it. You know, it's really useful. It can assist you in combat. It can assist you in navigation. But if you just want to eject out and glide around the rooftops of Gotham, for large parts of the game, you can just do that. It's totally up to you. We want to give you as many ways as possible to make you approach this kind of Batman situation, make you feel like your own kind of Batman.
Yeah, freedom is very important. We're not restricting anyone to kind of stick into the car and stay there. And this is the new feature for Arkham Knight. No, it's not like that at all.
Let's see what else we've got. What role will Two-Face play in Batman Arkham Knight? Can't talk too much about Two-Face's exact role, but one of the things that, going back to the spoiler from the end of Batman Arkham City, that event, what the removal of that character from kind of the Arkhamverse has created is a situation where, with that character, and I'm just going to say Joker, with Joker's removal from the Arkhamverse, it's created that's a chaotic influence that's kind of gone from Gotham, and Joker was always very interested in sort of keeping everything moving and everything chaotic and playing the other villains against each other and sort of using Batman as his kind of personal plaything. So when Joker's removed, Scarecrow is able to sort of see and unite with the other villains on a plan to take down Batman, which if Joker was alive would never have happened, because that kind of thing just wouldn't interest Joker. And he would have actively tried to stop it because he wants Batman for himself, and he kind of sees Batman as this kind of very entertaining toy. So Scarecrow's united the villains. He's got this plan to take down Batman, and Two-Face is a part of that plan. What will be in the city? So we've spent a lot of time making Gotham City, which is huge this time. It's 5 times bigger than the environment you had to play with in Batman Arkham City. Can
we go back to that point? How much bigger?
It's 5 times. It's 5 times bigger, which is to say roughly 20 times the size of the environment.
Imagine the amount of Riddler trophies. Imagine how mmany Riddler trophies can we fit into that? Yeah.
I don't know, I'm sure Sophie will be grinning to hear you say that. But it's a huge environment, and we want to make sure that feels like alive and interesting. So one of the things that we've developed for this game is a sort of an emergent rioting system. So at points in the game, because effectively there are sort of two major factions operating within Gotham on this rainy Halloween night. So as a result of Scarecrow's fear gas threat, the GCPD have evacuated as many civilians as they could out of the city limits to get them out of the blast radius. What that's left then is rioters, criminal elements on the street who are there just to cause chaos, just to tear the city apart. And also the Arkham Knight's militia are rolling in, setting up checkpoints, planting explosive devices, weaponizing Gotham. So the rioters and that sort of system is something that we really wanted to make it to sort of help the city to feel alive. So at points you'll be driving around a corner and you'll find an emergent riot that wasn't there a moment ago, and these things will sort of spring up and move around in a totally dynamic and very cool way. How many alternate costumes will be featured? We haven't announced anything along those lines. Will there be any comics or animated stuff featuring the Arkham Knight himself? That's a really good question. Like, when we got the chance to develop the character, the Arkham Knight, when we realized we had the chance to do that, I mean, do you remember what the atmosphere was like in the studios, Alf?
Ecstatic, really, to try and introduce a character into such a branded, understood universe is actually quite a privilege to be a part of. So yeah, introducing the Arkham Knight was quite a moment, and I'm glad that we had the opportunity to do that, be in the final installment.
How do you think the guys would feel if, and I don't know if they will, like if the fans connect with the character, if they like the character, the Arkham Knight might appear in something else, but we don't know. We just create a character for our own, you know, for our own game. It feels right in our game. I guess probably Albert and his team would be pretty happy if that happened.
Sure, yeah. For sure.
Answer is we don't know. If the fans really like him, then maybe DC Comics will do something. But we created the character for him to fulfill a role in the game, and he's fulfilling that role really nicely in the game. Let's take a couple more questions, and then we'll go back to the gameplay. We've got a question there from J.I. Waddymeister. Will there be co-op? For us, we're making a Batman game, and like I said earlier on in the stream, like for us that means getting the player to be the Batman. So it's a single player experience where you get to pick up the controller and wear the cowl and to be that guy. So there won't be any co-op in the game.
What can you say about aerial combat?
What can you say? That's Fallout Fernando again. Fallout Fernando again. Even, do you want to talk about the Batarangs while gliding?
Yeah, I mean, I think we briefly touched on that earlier as well. As Gaz mentioned, you can do lots of different gadgets while gliding, but also you would have noticed in the E3 trailer that the combat experts are in there.
Yeah.
And these guys don't mess around. I mean, they've got swords, they jump off other villains and the environment, and they attack you through the air, and you can actually counter them in the air. I mean,
Did you animate that? Did you? Because it's a cool animation.
We've got a certain someone in the office.
Actually.
Certain someone in the office named Mirko Petrelli. He's one to look out for. He loves his combat moves, and he's quite a martial artist in some ways. So yeah, they've been great fun. And the latest trailer, the latest cut that we released actually showed that in a very, very cool manner. Really, really happy that was released.
Yeah, that's cool. Kenny's gameplays. How long is the story? It really depends how fast you are and how experienced you are with Arkham. There's going to be a lot of content in there. Like it's a big game. You know, our environment, like I've said, it's about 5 times bigger than Batman Arkham City. I don't think anyone thought that Arkham City was a small game. So there's going to be a lot in there to keep you going.
Someone's asking about kill limits on the Batmobile. There is no killing.
There is no.
It's not a killing machine.
It's not a killing machine. No. Batman has a code and he doesn't kill. So if you target any human enemies while in battle mode, the weaponry will automatically switch onto the non-lethal right suppressor. So that's just going to knock guys out, knock them out cold. If they get too close to the Batmobile, either while you're driving or even while you're stationary, then there are electroshock countermeasures on the corners of the Batmobile that will just give them a little jolt and knock them back. So Batman can rest easy that his code is being fully adhered to, even with the Batmobile.
The drones are unmanned.
Of course,
the drones are unmanned, so therefore when we go into battle mode, it means business.
Yeah, so the heavy weaponry is only ever used against unmanned opponents. Sparks SV, is this game taking place in Gotham at summer? It is not. It is all taking place, as is the tradition of the Arkham games now, over the course of one night. It's a rainy Halloween night, the perfect night for Scarecrow to relaunch his plans for Batman, and that is the setting for our game.
It wouldn't be Batman without being dark anyway.
Exactly, and it's Gotham City. It's got to be nighttime. It's got to be rainy.
Moody, eerie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Seedy neon, rain-slick pavements.
Yes, let's not forget that.
The whole thing. Right, we'll take one more question and then we'll. So do you. Right, the last question. Grade Pig. Do you get the Batmobile right from the very start of the game? You will not start the game. You will not start the game in the Batmobile or with the Batmobile, but you'll get it pretty quickly. And once you've got it, you'll be really glad you've got it. Okay, thanks very much for your questions, guys. We're going to get back on with playing Batman Arkham Asylum in around about 3.5 minutes after this trailer.